Speed costs a fortune. If you want to touch 200 miles per hour, you expect to pay 20 grand. But in 2026, you are wrong. The used market is hiding monsters. We found machines that hit 180 miles per hour for less than a used Civic. From forgotten Japanese hyperbikes to Italian supermodels that depreciated like rocks, we reveal the deals that will scare you silly without breaking the bank. Do not buy a slow bike until you see this. Let's go. Number 12. Triumph Daytona 955E. This is the forgotten British superbike. While everyone was obsessing over the Yamaha R1 and the Honda Fireblade, in the early 2000s, Triumph was quietly building a 3-cylinder missile that offered more character than all the Japanese bikes combined. The Daytona 955i is the sophisticated choice for the speed freak on a budget who refuses to follow the crowd. It centers around a massive 955 cubic centimeter inline triple engine. Later models pushed nearly 150 horsepower, but numbers don't explain the magic of this engine. It has the low-end grunt of a V-twin and the top-end scream of a 4-cylinder. The sound is widely described as a TIE fighter or a wolf in a blender. It is a mechanical symphony of induction roar and exhaust wail that makes you want to open the throttle just to hear the noise. I remember a track day where a guy showed up on a battered silver Daytona 955e. He was pitted next to guys on brand new Ducati Panigale. Everyone ignored him until the first session. He came tearing down the straightaway, that triple engine howling like a banshee, and passed 2 Ducatis on the brakes. He came back to the pits grinning and said, "I bought this for $3,000 on Craigslist." But what if you want this same upright comfort, but with an engine that has a massive tractor-pulling torque that hits you in the chest the moment you touch the throttle? Our next bike is a legend of the budget world, known for being absolutely bulletproof. Number 11. Suzuki Bandit 1200. If the FZ6 is a scalpel, the Suzuki Bandit 1200 is a sledgehammer. This is the definition of old school muscle. It doesn't care about aerodynamics. It doesn't care about traction control or ride modes. It only cares about pulling your arms out of their sockets with raw mechanical force. This is a bike for people who respect the days when engines were air-cooled and men had calluses on their hands. It features a massive 1,157 cubic centimeter air and oil-cooled inline-4. This engine is legendary in the motorcycle world. It is derived from the GSXR 1100 of the 1980s, an engine famous for being over-engineered and unkillable. On the spec sheet, it makes 98 horsepower, which sounds low for a 1200, but do not be fooled. The torque is the star here. It makes 67 foot-pounds of torque at just 3,500 RPM. You can leave a stoplight in 3rd gear and it won't stall. You can pass a semi-truck on the highway without downshifting. It pulls like a freight train from idle all the way to the red line. The seat is thick, plush, and wide. The riding position is completely neutral, with your legs at a comfortable 90-degree angle and your arms reaching out naturally to the bars. It is widely considered one of the most comfortable motorcycles ever made for big guys. However, it is heavy. It weighs nearly 500 pounds wet, so you need some muscle to move it around the garage. But once it is moving, that weight makes it incredibly stable. So we just revealed the first 2 bargains, but the deals only get faster and cheaper from here. If you want to save thousands on your next ride, click that like button and subscribe right now. It helps us find these hidden gems so you don't have to. The Bandit is raw muscle, but sometimes you want refinement. You want a bike that was once the fastest production motorcycle in the world, a technological marvel that now costs less than a scooter. Number 10. Honda CBR 1100 XX Super Blackbird. The name alone demands respect. The Super Blackbird. It sounds like a secret military project, and in a way, it was. In the late 90s, Honda built this machine with one singular goal: to destroy the Kawasaki ZZR1200 and take the speed crown. In 1996, this was the king of speed, and today, in 2026, it is the king of value. It packs a 1,137 cubic centimeter inline-4 engine that is smoother than a gas turbine. It produces 164 horsepower. Even by today's standards, that is a massive number. But the way it delivers that power is what makes it special. It uses dual counterbalancers to cancel out engine vibration. At 100 miles per hour, the mirrors are perfectly clear, and you feel zero buzz in the handlebars. It feels electric, like a bullet train levitating over the asphalt. This is a hyper-tourer. You lean forward to reach the clip-on bars, but not as aggressively as a pure sport bike like a Fireblade. The fairing was wind tunnel tested to create a bubble of calm air around the rider, designed specifically to cross continents at triple-digit speeds. It is long, stable, and incredibly planted. I recall meeting a guy at a gas station in Nevada. He was on a Blackbird with over 80,000 miles on the odometer. He told me he had just ridden from Chicago to Las Vegas in 2 days. He looked fresh, not tired. He said, at 140, it feels like it's idling. That is the magic of the Blackbird. Adjusted for inflation, these were expensive luxury machines when new, but the market has slept on them. You can find excellent condition Blackbirds for $4,000 to $5,000. It will hit a top speed of 178 miles per hour. Let that sink in. For $4,000, you can own a Honda that knocks on the door of 180. The Blackbird is a refined gentleman's missile, but what if you want something nasty? What if you want an Italian V-twin that sounds like thunder, vibrates with character, and scares children when you start it up? Number 9. Aprilia Tuono 1000R. We are taking a risk here. Italian bikes are usually expensive to buy and fragile to own, but the Aprilia Tuono, specifically the second generation, is the exception to the rule. It is essentially an Aprilia superbike with the fairings ripped off and wide handlebars bolted on. It is the original Hyper Naked, a hooligan machine designed to terrorize the neighborhood. It uses the legendary Rotax V990 Magnesium V twin engine. Unlike Ducati engines, which use belts that need changing, the Rotax uses bulletproof chains. It makes 139 horsepower. The sound is apocalyptic. Unlike the smooth Japanese fours, this thing vibrates, snorts, and pops on deceleration. It has massive Brembo brakes that stop the Earth's rotation and fully adjustable suspension that comes track ready from the factory. My neighbor bought a Tuono and put a set of aftermarket exhaust cans on it. The first time he started it in the garage, I thought a thunderstorm had touched down. He took me for a ride, and the torque was so violent it felt like the bike was trying to throw me off the back. These were premium exotics costing $15,000 when new, but because people are afraid of Italian maintenance, prices have plummeted. You can find them for $3,500 to $4,500. It will hit a top speed of 155 miles per hour, but doing that speed on a naked bike feels like 200. Quick pause. We are uncovering some serious speed here. If you are finding this list helpful, or if you just like the sound of a cheap V-twin, smash that like button. It helps us find more deals for you. Number 8. BMW 1200S. This was Germany's answer to the Suzuki Hayabusa. BMW looked at the Japanese hyperbikes and decided they wanted a slice of the action. The result was the K1200S, a technological tour de force that feels like a spaceship compared to a raw GSXR. This is not just a fast bike. It is a velvet sledgehammer designed to cross continents at warp speed. It is powered by a laydown 1,157 cubic centimeter inline-4 engine that produces a staggering 167 horsepower. But unlike other bikes on this list, it uses the weird but wonderful dual-lever front suspension. This separates steering from braking. You can hammer the brakes at 100 miles per hour, and the front end does not dive. It stays perfectly flat. It feels like alien magic. But here's the crazy part. Because people are terrified of complex German electronics from 2005, the resale value has crashed. A bike that cost nearly $20,000 new can now be found for $3,500 to $5,000. It hits a top speed of 174 miles per hour. If you are brave enough to risk the maintenance, you get a millionaire's ride for peasant money. We have seen V-twins and naked bikes, but stick around because we have a bike coming up that was banned by a gentleman's agreement because it was simply too fast for the public. Number 7. Kawasaki ZZR1200. This is the forgotten missile. Before the ZX-14 existed, there was the ZZR1200. It sits in a weird middle ground. It is a sport touring bike, but it leaned heavily on the sport side. It is ugly, it is fast, and it is cheap because almost everyone has forgotten it exists. It houses a 1,164 cubic centimeter inline-4 engine, making 160 horsepower. Here's the cool part. It uses 4 carburetors. In an era of fuel injection, the carbs give it a snappy, instant throttle response that feels raw and connected. It features dual exhaust cans and a massive headlight array that looks like a spider's face. You will either love it or hate it. Ergonomically, it is surprisingly sporty. The reach to the bars is long, stretching you out over the tank. The seat is wide and comfortable, even for a passenger. It comes with hard bag mounts integrated into the design, meaning it is built for 2 uprighting at speeds that will get you arrested in any country. I found one of these for sale locally for just $2,000. The owner said, "It scares me. I took it for a test ride, and when the tachometer swept past 7,000 RPM, the front wheel went light in third gear. It is a beast." Expensive in 2002, you can now find clean ones for $2,500 to $3,500. It will hit a top speed of 175 miles per hour. It is essentially a bullet train on two wheels. The ZD is fast, but it looks a bit dated. What if you want the engine from a legendary superbike put into a chassis that can handle the daily grind? Number 6. Yamaha FZ1 Generation 2. This is the bike that defined the super naked class before it was even a popular term. In 2006, Yamaha took the engine from the famous R1 superbike, retuned it slightly, and stuffed it into an aluminum frame with upright bars. The result is magic. It features a 998 cubic centimeter inline 4 with 5 valves per cylinder, a piece of tech from Yamaha's Formula One days. It makes 150 horsepower. This is serious power. It has a lightweight aluminum frame and fully adjustable suspension that can be dialed in for the track or the street. It is basically an R1 for people with bad backs. The handlebars are flat and wide drag bars. You sit in an aggressive, forward-leaning crouch that is comfortable at speed but gives you leverage to muscle the bike through corners. The seat is firm but supportive. It is the perfect do-it-all motorcycle. You can commute on it Monday through Friday and destroy tires at a track day on Saturday. I have a friend who uses his FZ1 for everything. He puts saddlebags on it for camping trips, then takes them off to race 600s at the local track. He says it is the only bike he will never sell. These cost around 10 grand in 2010, but today you can find high mileage examples for $3,500 and clean ones for $4,500. It hits a top speed of 160 miles per hour, and it gets there with a top-end rush that is absolutely addictive. The FZ1 is great, but sometimes you want a bike that is just pure fun, a bike that makes you feel like a kid again, popping wheelies and making noise. Number 5. Honda VTR 1000 Superhawk. Known as the Firestorm in Europe, this was Honda's answer to the Ducati 916. It didn't beat Ducati on the racetrack, but on the street, it became a legend of torque and fun. It is a bike with flaws, but those flaws give it character. It runs a 996 cubic centimeter V-twin using massive 48mm carburetors, the largest ever fitted to a production motorcycle at the time. It makes 110 horsepower, but the specs don't tell the story. The throttle response is instantaneous. The front wheel refuses to stay on the ground in first and second gear. It uses side-mounted radiators to keep the bike incredibly thin, making it feel like a bicycle with a rocket engine. The ergonomics are sporty, but not torture. The clip-on handlebars are mounted above the triple clamp, so you aren't fully hunched over. The seat is famously terrible. Most owners replace it immediately, but the riding position is engaging. It feels tiny and flickable underneath you. The fuel range is abysmal because of a small tank and thirsty carbs, but you won't care because you will be grinning too much. I bought a Superhawk as a winter beater once. I ended up loving it more than my main bike. The sound of that V-twin with aftermarket pipes is intoxicating. It sets off car alarms and turns heads everywhere. It is one of the cheapest litter bikes on the market. $2,500 to $3,500 gets you a clean one. It hits a top speed of 150 miles per hour, but the acceleration from 0 to 100 is what makes it stupid fast. I have a question for you. Would you rather have the raw speed of a fared bike like the Blackbird or the hooligan fun of a naked bike like the Superhawk? Let me know which style fits your riding in the comments. We are getting into the serious heavyweights now, regardless of price. These are the land speed record holders. Number 4, Yamaha FJR1300 Generation 1. We have talked about sport bikes, but what if you want to go stupid fast with hard luggage and a windshield that actually works? Enter the Yamaha FJR1300. This is the bike that redefined sport touring. Before this, you had to choose between a slow touring bike or an uncomfortable sport bike. Yamaha said, why not both? And built a continent-crushing missile. It is powered by a 1,298 cubic centimeter inline 4 engine, making 145 horsepower. But the secret weapon is the shaft drive. No messy chains to lube, no sprockets to change. You just get on and ride. It produces 99 foot-pounds of torque, twists the throttle in any gear, and it surges forward like a tidal wave. It was famously used by police forces across Europe because it was the only thing fast enough to catch speeding supercars on the Autobahn. The comfort is legendary. It has an electric windshield you can adjust with your thumb. The seat is an armchair. The tank holds 6.6 gallons of fuel, giving you a massive range. You can ride 500 miles in a day and not feel broken. You can find a Gen 1 for $3,000 to $4,000. It hits a top speed of 155 miles per hour, and it will do it with saddlebags full of groceries. That is the definition of stealth speed. And we are getting into the serious heavyweights now. The top 3 bikes are faster than almost anything else on the road, regardless of price. Number 3, Kawasaki ZX-12R. Before the ZX-14 existed, Kawasaki tried to beat the Suzuki Hayabusa with this machine. The ZX-12R was built with one purpose: to go faster than 190 miles per hour. It is a technological marvel that looks like a stealth fighter jet. It packs a 1,200 cubic centimeter inline-4 engine, making 178 horsepower in unrestricted form. It features a radical monocoque frame where the frame actually goes over the engine and acts as the airbox. This was cutting-edge engineering. It has aerodynamic wings on the fairing ears before MotoGP made them cool. It is a big bike, but the reach is sporty. It feels taller and more aggressive than a Hayabusa. The wind protection is absolute. You are sitting in a cockpit, protected from the elements. It is comfortable for high-speed runs, but a bit cumbersome in a parking lot due to its height and weight. I have a friend who drag races a ZX-12. He says it is harder to launch than a Hayabusa because the power comes in violently at the top end. But once it hooks up, it is a missile. Because it lives in the shadow of the ZX-14 and the Hayabusa, it is surprisingly cheap, $4,000 to $5,500. It hits a top speed of 186 miles per hour because of the gentleman's agreement limiter, but unrestricted, it can touch 190 for $5,000. That is terrifying. The ZX-12 is fast, but it is becoming rare. Our runner-up is the bike that replaced it, and it is widely considered the king of the drag strip. Number 2, Kawasaki ZX-14 Generation 1. When Kawasaki decided to end the speed war once and for all, they built the ZX-14. It is not a motorcycle, it is a warp drive with handlebars. It is the bike you buy when you want to be the fastest thing in your zip code. It features a massive 1,352 cubic centimeter inline-4 engine. It makes 190 horsepower. It makes more torque at idle than most 600s make at peak. It is incredibly smooth. It can potter around town like a scooter in top gear. But if you twist the throttle, it warps space-time. Objects in the mirror disappear instantly. Despite its size, it is surprisingly comfortable. It is long and low. The seat is plush and supportive. The bars are a reasonable reach, not a torture rack. It is a heavy bike, weighing over 500 pounds, but that weight makes it incredibly stable at speed. You can ride this across the country in total comfort, arriving hours before anyone else. I saw a guy at a track day on a ZX-14 with saddlebags. He did a track session, smoked a bunch of sport bikes on the straightaway, then put his helmet in the bag and rode home in comfort. That is the versatility of this machine. New ones cost over 15 grand, but the Generation 1 models from 2006 to 2011 are shockingly cheap, $5,000 to $6,000. It is electronically limited to 186 miles per hour, but with a simple ECU flash, it will crack 200. And finally, the #1 dirt cheap and stupid fast motorcycle, the icon, the legend, the bike that changed the world. Number 1, Suzuki GSX-1300, our Hayabusa Generation 1. You knew it was coming, the Busa, the first gen, the copper-colored Falcon. This bike started the speed wars and remains the best value in high-speed history. It is the bike that forced manufacturers to agree to a speed limit because governments were threatening to ban them. It houses a 1,299 cubic centimeter inline-4 engine, making 175 horsepower. But it isn't just the power, it is the aerodynamics. It was designed in a wind tunnel to slice through the air like a bullet. The bulbous shape is functional. The engine is bulletproof. People turbocharge these to 500 horsepower on stock internals, and they hold together. It looks huge, but it fits like a glove. The seat height is low at 31.7 inches. You sit in the bike, behind the massive fairing. It is surprisingly agile for its size once moving, but its primary domain is the highway and the drag strip. I bought a beat-up Gen 1 Hayabusa years ago for $3,500. It looked rough, but it ran perfectly. I remember the first time I went full throttle on an open runway. The acceleration physically hurt my neck. It is a sensation everyone should experience once. Because they sold so many, you can find them everywhere. A rough one is $4,000. A clean one is $5,500 to $6,500. The 1999 model hits an unrestricted top speed of 194 miles per hour. Buying a Gen 1 Busa is the cheapest way to own a piece of history that can still destroy modern supercars. Want to continue the ride? Click on the next video. Don't forget to subscribe and don't forget to like this video. Ride safe.